Spotify keeps up in their price and I'm getting a bit sick of it. So I thought, like, why don't I just get rid of Spotify, save my money, like £13 a month or something stupid. It's probably, I mean, I don't know what it is in dollars, probably like $15, $16 a month just for a solo membership. Yeah, I feel like most of the time I go back to listening to music that I have already discovered. Like, there's not much new music that I find on Spotify. And even then, it's usually old music that like comes back and Discover Weekly or something like that. So originally, just like I've got a lot of CDs just from like passed down to me from my like parents and stuff. I thought I may as well just like burn the CDs to, you know, my computer or whatever, and then have music on my computer. And then I was thinking, like, why don't I just download the files onto my phone, like the MP3 files onto my phone? But then, like, it's a bit cluttered on my phone. My phone doesn't have much storage, and it's just like a bit of a nightmare. So then I figured out that I just get this little iPod clone. It's just on Amazon. It was like £50. Oh no, I got the higher spec one that has more storage, so I think it was like £70. I've just started using this. You can get like cool little, see that? Yeah, you can get cool little like themes for it. This is like a Windows XP one. They've got loads of different ones as well. They've got like an iPod one. You just use the scroll wheel to go through your like files and stuff, all your stuff there. I mean, that's just like a small list. I'm gonna add more music to it as time goes on. I want to buy some digital albums from some people that I want to support as well, some artists that I want to support because they're just doing their thing and I enjoy listening to their music. There's also, you know, the piracy debate. I'm not going to get into that, and I'm not going to like tell you anywhere to download free music because that's you know, that's your own choice. But it's been really fun. I'll just sort of talk you through like the story. So I found this video on YouTube by this guy called Damn It Jeff, who he makes good videos if you want to check him out. Yeah, I like his videos quite a lot actually. He seems like a funny guy. Yeah, so I watched his video on like deleting Spotify or something like that. I can't remember how it was framed. Yeah, I thought I may as well just follow that. I've been looking into like a few different videos. I watched one before about this guy that used he deleted Spotify and then got Apple Music instead, and then used that along with downloaded files, which was pretty cool. So then I got a trial to Apple Music, but I don't really like it as much, and it's just like feeding into the same subscription fee thing. So I thought I'd just get it on a different device. I also used to have an iPod like this, so it was just like, it just made sense to get this. I mean, it is like a bit of nostalgia bait kind of thing, but I enjoy it. I want to get like more stickers for it as well because it's a bit like plain at the moment. I've just got like a clear case on it. I used to have an iPod, so I love the like style of it, and I want to get more like back into more, instead of having one device, I want to have like multiple devices for their own thing. I feel like it just makes it's just nicer, I think, to like use things with intention instead of like having a phone that has camera, social media, games, Netflix, YouTube. Like it has, you know, I want like I've got a DS again, and that's so fun. And it's just nice to like have things that remind you of your like childhood, as well as just doing things with intention, like doing one thing at once instead of like multitasking between 500 million things, because you just end up focusing better. Yeah, I just prefer it. I think I just like having this little device for like I mean, it hasn't got all my music on it yet, but I'm getting there. So yeah, I just bought it on Amazon. It came, you know, next day or whatever. And then I installed Rockbox, which is like firmware that you can install onto it that helps like mod it more than like the stock OS, because it's just loads on like an Android OS, I think. So then you can get like the themes and stuff on there, and I think it just like runs better, I've heard. I didn't actually compare the two, so that's just like anecdotal from online. I haven't actually done any research into that. So yeah, you install Rockbox, and then the themes you install from this website. I can't remember what it's called now, but I can link that. And then you install that. I had a bit of issue with downloading the themes to the actual device because it's USB-C, which is kind of handy as well. I didn't mention that. You just plug this into your laptop and then you download the theme. But there's like a weird way of installing it, and it works differently for different people for some reason. So you have to go into like themes. You load up the device, and then in the actual folder, not the themes folder, which is what confused me. It was like a dot. It was a different folder that you had to put it in, which is like the main device folder. You just drag and drop it in there, and then it sorts it out on its own. I don't know how it works. And then the themes come under like a theme setting on the actual device once you unplug it. So then you get the themes, and then I also had an issue with Bluetooth where it connected to some devices, but then not others. Like my car, I got the device to play songs in my car because it's just a bit like annoying changing between CDs. So I got it for that, but it didn't work on my car. So I had to troubleshoot loads of different things. My car doesn't have an aux cable either, or like an aux slot, which is really annoying. I ended up getting like a USB to audio cable, which didn't work because I also don't have Bluetooth in my car. It's an old like Civic, so I need to put one of those shit Bluetooth transmitters in the, like cigarette lighter 12 volt section. So you can't actually plug an aux into that either, which I should have researched better. So I was like pretty hopeless. And then I looked online and then people said to update the firmware on the actual device. So I did that and then I had to reinstall Rockbox. But now it works on my car. I think as like a MP3 player with headphones, it does the job. iPods didn't have Bluetooth anyway. So, I mean, what can you expect? But yeah, it works in my car now, so that's fun. And I'm just really enjoying sort of being intentional with listening to music more. I've only got and just listening to albums instead of playlists, because usually I used to make a playlist every month on Spotify. I don't know, the experience of listening to an album in full is just so much better. Like you just experience like what the artist was feeling and the sort of journey that they take you on throughout the album. But the only issue is that if you want to listen to like singles or artists that don't really have albums, you're a bit. I mean, you can still download the singles and stuff, but it's like not as nice to play because an album you can just put on and forget about it. But with there is a playlist function on this that I haven't used. So if you can't live without playlists, then you can load them onto the device. I'm not actually sure how to make them. I probably will eventually do one when I get sick of all the albums that I've got. But yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting little thing, like project. I don't know, it's not even a project, but like, a little thing I can make a video on. It was a fun little journey. Maybe I'll do an update in a few months with, how I get on with getting more music on there and stuff. I think as like a last point, it definitely helps to own things. I think people are moving away from owning physical things. I mean, obviously this isn't you don't have to own all the CDs to use this, but if you back up the songs that you do download, if you buy them from reputable sources, the songs that you do download, you can back up onto, a hard drive or whatever, and then you have them. Whereas with streaming, they could just take any song down at any time. Or, it's like the Kindle debate as well. I don't know if you've heard of this, but Kindle can, any platform, even Amazon, like if you buy a film on Amazon or a TV show, they can just take it down and you lose that file. Like you lose the right to watch that you've bought outright. Same with Kindle. Like if you buy a book and then it gets taken off the store, they can just remove it from your purchases. So it's a bit of a tricky time at the moment, I think. And I think just for peace of mind, it's good to own things like physical media, like physical books, physical, just like the digital world. I think we need to cling on more to physical things. And just not like lose ourselves into the metaverse or whatever.
Your face filter.
Some pros obviously to this device. It's like offline. You don't have to have Wi-Fi or anything. The battery life's pretty good. It lasts a decent amount of time. If you get like a power bank, then it lasts even longer. Obviously, it works with headphones, so you can just plug in headphones. It works with Bluetooth sometimes, with an asterisk. And it has pretty decent storage as well. I think this one's got 128 gig, which is like probably 4,000 MP3s or something like that. If you're more wary about the file that you listen to, there's less songs. But I feel like you don't really notice the difference in this device unless you have like really good speakers or headphones. You're not really going to tell the difference between a FLAC file and an MP3 file unless you're really into your music. So I feel like the average person can deal with MP3s, and you can get quite a lot of them on here. Yeah, some cons, obviously the Bluetooth doesn't always connect to every device, and you may have to update the firmware to the latest firmware. It also can be a bit laggy sometimes, especially when it's updated to the newest firmware. It gets a bit harder to run. which is a bit of an issue. But I mean, when you're only playing music, like you're just going to files, music, and then playing your music, so it's not that bad. And then you can also just, if it's being really laggy, you can just turn it off and on again, and it usually fixes it. It is also, I mean, it has built-in speakers. I wouldn't use them though; they're a bit trash. But it has speakers. The navigation on the scroll wheel is a bit of a gimmick. So, like, if you don't like it, you're gonna hate this. Obviously, I used to have an iPod, so it's kind of nostalgic for me. I quite like it, and it's also not very heavy duty. It's quite a plasticky feel. It's not got the weight to it that like a metal iPod does. But when you're paying £70, I mean, what are you expecting? So I think it's a good, like, all rounder beginner MP3 device for just getting your nostalgia in, getting some physical media. CD, buying some CDs, burning them onto your laptop or computer, and then transferring them onto this, or just purchasing people's albums and then backing them up onto a hard drive. Obviously, that's not physical, but like you own it more so than you do Spotify or Amazon or Kindle. Blah blah blah. We need to start doing more things with intention. I feel like we've all got like rapid fire brains at the moment, like low attention span brains where you can, if you're bored of TikTok, you can go to Instagram, and then you're bored of Instagram, so you go to Netflix, and then you put Netflix on the TV, and then you're bored of that, so then you watch TikTok while you're watching Netflix. It's just too, like, I think we need to just go back to like focusing on one thing at a time, being intentional with what we do with our lives. Read a book and just only read that book. When you're cooking, just cook, just like try and cut out some of the dopamine from your life. And just not overload yourself with dopamine. Don't overwhelm yourself, and just enjoy a nice album in your headphones. Like maybe go for a walk. Obviously, that's not one thing, but go for a walk and listen to some music. That's like such a nice, rewarding experience instead of like watching Netflix instead of like watching Netflix and TikTok at the same time, and then the Netflix shows are so dumbed down now that they explain the plot lines like 4 times throughout the show or film because people don't watch it fully. I don't know. I think it's just a good idea to be intentional. It's the point of this video, and also just to show off this cool little iPod that I got. So I hope you like this one. Take care and bye.